those of you I don't know, and to those I do, hello. My name is Gayle Bates, and I'm one of 4 contract waste reduction educators with Comox Strathcona Waste Management. Now, the 4 roles are sort of interrelated, but we do different things. So I'll talk about the other 3 later. Of course, I want to talk about me first. I generally see groups of adults and elementary school students. In this last calendar year, we're very careful because Comox Strathcona Waste Management covers a really large area. So in this last calendar year, I was able to be in Gold River, Sayward, Cortes Island, Quadra Island, Campbell River, the Comox Valley, of course, Hornby Island, and Denman Island, and we are planning a road trip to Zabellis in the spring. But whether I am talking to a grade 2 class on Cortes Island, or the Rotary Club or the Elder College group, which I will be next month, the whole point of every presentation, the goal and objective is identical, and it's this: to inform and encourage and empower our constituents to make their best decisions about their waste, and therefore their best decisions impacting our landfills. Now, as you know, as part of the CVRD, we're in a process right now about solid waste. And we are right now entering a phase of public meetings and forums. And I have here, you're the first to see them, the newsletters regarding this. And as I'm speaking now about what we're doing in the community, I'll pass these out and ask you to take one of these. You see them first hot off the press, and do share them with your neighbors and coworkers. And the more people we can get out telling us how they feel about what is happening to their waste and what they want to have happen in the future, the better it will be for us. So in my time as a waste reduction educator, I've come up with some prompts. And I'm honored to say that I was one of the original authors of our Power of R program. Does anybody know what the Power of R is? You're saying that just because you're afraid I'll hurt you, Darcy.
Yes.
Do you really know?
Reduce, reuse, recycle, and R.
There's 4 of them. Actually, we've got 5. We sneak in a 4.5, actually. The Power of R is a program that was developed, and it's based on a very common truism, which is prevention, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So we at the Power of R are the pound of cure for solid waste management. Just like in firefighting, it's well accepted that it's way better to prevent a fire than fight a fire. Our purpose is to prevent the creation of waste rather than deal with the, all of the things that we're doing right now in the public process, the cost and the expense and the things around dealing with waste. So one of the props that I use is this. And kids love it, and I find that adults are quite fascinated with it. It's called the garbage pie. And the garbage pie represents by percentage what is going into our landfill. So I'll talk about 2 of the other, well, maybe I should talk about Zach. Zach is the educator who speaks to not only adults as well, but to the middle and senior students. And then our compost educators, we have Elaine Jansen in Campbell River and Patty Rose here in the Comox Valley, are with our compost education centers. And if you haven't been there, I really encourage you to go and have a look. Those 2 specifically are focusing on a very basic area of our garbage pie, our organic waste. And you may have heard that there's lots of discussion around that, and again, at the public forums, there will be lots of discussion around it. We not only offer information, we actually provide through the sales of composters. Anybody aware of these? Put your hand up if you have one, please. Excellent! Oh, what a good board. Excellent. Okay, green cones. Does anybody have them, or has anybody seen them?
Yep.
I'm going to take a page from Corrine's presentation to the board of directors, saying that when we first brought these in, we using the Royal, last year, there was some question about how many would sell, and the you know, not that we're a betting group, but 20, 30, 50 items were suggested. More than 400 of these were sold in a first offering, and it was not an easy thing because people had to phone in, pay by Visa ahead of time, and then wait till we came up with the final order number, and then they had to go at specific times to pick them up. This wasn't a drive to the hardware store to pick it up kind of thing. People are motivated to reduce their waste. So, going back to the garbage pie, one of my favorite experiences was when I took off the fiber piece, which is the cardboard and paper. up to 38%, and this is your common papers and cardboards. A little tiny girl, and I can't even remember where she was, but she, in one of the classrooms, and she stood up, and you can imagine her, she's wearing a little pink skirt, and she puts her hands on her little hips, and she goes, "I've known you can recycle paper since I was a baby." Well, we all know we can recycle paper and cardboard, but still every day we are weighing in tons of paper and cardboard. So in terms of it being an ounce of prevention, in this last calendar year, I spoke to, by actual measure, 3,340 students. I don't know how many hundreds in the public events, but those little people, if you have children or your grandchildren, are great influencers. And I am spoken to in the public, people say, "Oh, you're the lady that's responsible for us not eating snackums at lunch anymore." Yes, probably I am. I have a lot of different activities that I do with the classes, and I don't know, do you think, Corrine, we should try the why recycling's at the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
All right. The power of R, as I said, has 4.5 steps, sort of. At the bottom is recycling, and people think that recycling is wonderful, but I say it's just above garbage. We talk about garbage being a reality, that we have it and we should deal with it responsibly. The worst thing is to have it end up in nature. But just above garbage is recycling, and I'll come back to that in just a second. Above that is reusing, and I have a bunch of different examples of that, including my bag that's made of juice containers, or my seatbelt purse, or using a reusable mug. Then we have reduce, which means every time you're reusing something, you're considering at the end. We have a buying local component, which we have just partnered with the Land Conservancy about, but we're talking about please make a consideration. It's a thought process, the power of R is. Make a decision. Is it long-term? Can you buy a better quality? Can you source it locally? And at the top is rethink. It's because the most powerful force on the planet outside of nature is the human brain. And we know that one sign of insanity, or definition of insanity, is doing the same thing again and again and again and expecting a different outcome. So if we keep buying and discarding things and wasting things the way we have, we're going to continue to have huge landfill kind of problems.